When you stop explaining, you're not being rude and you're not trying to confuse anyone. You're setting boundaries. Every reaction you gave before, every justification you offered, was giving away your energy without realizing it. Humans are wired to react to signals, to detect uncertainty, and to predict behavior. When someone over-explains, the brain reads hesitation and vulnerability. The more you talk to justify yourself, the more you create a map for others to follow, a way to influence your energy. But when you stop, when you speak less than expected, the dynamic shifts. Silence creates psychological friction, and friction reveals truth. People start to panic not dramatically, but quietly. They question themselves. Their minds fill the gaps you left, and your influence quietly grows. Every pause you take, every word you withhold, signals strength, calm, and autonomy. They feel the shift in energy. In the workplace, when you stop explaining your ideas to a group that previously dominated, they begin to feel a loss of control. Colleagues who once anticipated your every move are now unsure. You create tension. Tension creates awareness. Awareness forces others to reconsider. In relationships, the principle is the same. When you stop over-explaining your decisions, you allow space for reflection. The moment you release the need to justify, you regain energy. They notice your calm, your lack of defensiveness, and your self-possession. Silence generates curiosity. Curiosity triggers overthinking. Overthinking leads to respect and subtle fear of losing your presence. Even with casual acquaintances, over-explaining weakens perception. People feel dominant when they can anticipate your every reaction. But when you withhold, power shifts. Human brains seek patterns to reduce uncertainty. Over-explaining provides those patterns. When you stop, their brains experience cognitive tension. Cognitive tension is uncomfortable. Humans naturally seek resolution, which comes as attention to your presence and respect for your autonomy. You can practice this by observing. Watch people's reactions when you stop defending a point. Note how they attempt to fill the silence. Imagine scenarios where people overstep because they assume control. Over-explaining trains them to expect compliance. Withdrawing explanations breaks that pattern. Suddenly, their expectations collapse. Tension exists where there was ease, and in that tension, respect grows. Influence becomes visible. Every conversation is a laboratory. Pause before speaking. Observe. Hold your words. Notice the subtle panic in those who relied on your over-explanations. Think about historical leaders. They rarely explained unnecessarily. They created presence through absence and tension through restraint. Silence amplified their presence. Start with small pauses. Reduce the explanations in everyday interactions. Notice how curiosity emerges and influence grows without effort. Every withheld word strengthens your energy. Every pause rebalances dynamics. Every moment of silence creates presence. Remember, this builds internal power. People begin to anticipate less and respect more. The dissonance they feel is your growing authority. You don't speak louder, you speak less. You allow silence to create influence, and that is the essence of restraint, respect, and power. Now that you understand the power of silence and the psychological impact of stopping explanations, it's time to apply it in real life. Influence is not just a concept, it's a skill you can practice every day. Step 1. Pause before responding. Resist the instinct to immediately justify yourself, explain your decisions, or defend your actions. Each pause strengthens your presence. It forces others to reflect. It creates tension, and tension is the soil in which influence grows. Step 2. Say only what matters. Remove filler words, reduce over-explaining, and focus on the essence of your message. Every unnecessary word you withhold preserves energy and authority. Step 3. Observe reactions. When you stop over-explaining, people begin to reveal themselves. Their curiosity rises. Their assumptions falter. Their attempts to control or predict you weaken. Watch carefully. Take note of how people respond to your calm and measured approach. Step 4. Maintain consistency. One pause, one moment of restraint will create impact, but repeated practice transforms influence into habit. Over time, every interaction reinforces your presence, your authority, and your respect. In work environments, this is critical. Stop over-explaining in meetings. Stop clarifying every detail for colleagues. Let your silence speak. Let them process your ideas without constant justification. Observe their reactions. Notice who rises to fill the silence. Notice who overthinks and who begins to respect the restraint you show. This is subtle power at work. The fewer words you use, the more authority you convey. You are not avoiding responsibility. You are strategically managing attention, energy, and influence. In relationships, the same rules apply. Stop defending choices that don't need defending. Stop explaining why you feel a certain way. Allow others to process your actions silently. Let them notice your calm, your composure, and your consistency. Curiosity grows naturally. Reflection emerges. Respect follows. People panic subtly because their assumptions fail. Their control slips. They begin to acknowledge your presence and autonomy in ways that words alone could never produce. Even in casual social interactions, this technique works. When you over-explain, others learn to anticipate, manipulate, or predict your behavior. When you withhold, when you pause, when you say less than expected, the dynamic shifts. The tension you create forces reflection, curiosity, and respect. Observe it, analyze it, learn from it. Every interaction becomes a laboratory for influence. Let's explore exercises to practice this daily. Start with small conversations. Pause before responding to a question. Speak less. Observe reactions. Reflect on the tension and curiosity that arises. Gradually increase the stakes. Stop over-explaining in meetings, social gatherings, and family discussions. Track the impact. Note the subtle panic that emerges when control is disrupted. Silence works because it engages human psychology effortlessly. Historical examples reinforce this principle. Powerful leaders, negotiators, and influencers rarely over-explained themselves. They spoke with precision, observed reactions, and allowed absence to amplify presence. Their influence grew through measured silence, not constant justification. You can apply the same principle in your life. Consistency is key. Each moment of restraint compounds over time. Influence becomes habitual, authority becomes natural, and respect becomes inevitable. Remember, each pause, each withheld explanation, each moment of calm strengthens your energy. People begin to anticipate less, react less, and respect more. The moment you stop explaining, they feel subtle panic. Their assumptions fail, their control slips, and they are forced to acknowledge your authority. Silence is not weakness. Not reacting is not indifference. Saying less is not cowardice. Every pause, every measured word, every withheld explanation builds presence, influence, and psychological authority. Practice daily, reflect constantly, apply consistently. Step back before speaking. Observe reactions. Maintain calm. Let tension do the work. Allow curiosity to emerge. Notice influence grow naturally. The moment you stop explaining, people panic not in a dramatic sense, but in subtle, unconscious ways that shift dynamics. You regain control, you reclaim energy, you build respect. And when you consistently implement these strategies, your influence expands. Finally, understand the power of looping reinforcement. Every interaction you practice restraint reinforces your authority. The principles are simple. Pause, withhold, observe, maintain consistency, and allow silence to speak. Over time, these actions compound. Respect grows, influence solidifies. Attention becomes your ally. Absence becomes your tool. Psychological tension becomes your friend. Silence is not weakness. Absence is not neglect. Saying less is not fear. Step back, pause, and withhold explanations. Observe reactions. Allow subtle panic to emerge. Let curiosity rise. Influence quietly grows. Power returns naturally. The moment you stop explaining, everything changes. And every interaction thereafter reinforces the truth. Restraint, silence, and presence create authority that words alone could never achieve.